Welcome to episode 155 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, host Stefan Loeffler at Junkwax Twins.
Oh, hi.
Ben, don't call me Jeff Wilson at our trading cards. And I'm Tim Scheffler at Big Chef 79. We are podcast by collectors for collectors. Hoping to bring you a smart, insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
On YouTube, Facebook, Live, Twitch. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at About the Cards. We're available as a podcast everywhere you can find one. Check out our website, aboutthecards.wordpress.com. What is up, fellas?
Oh, hi.
How we doing?
Hey. Hi, Steph. Hi, Tim.
I like the new setup, Ben. You're in your Cavo cards.
I haven't sat over here for a show since probably season 1. Maybe season 1.5.
Yeah, as we're wrapping up the end of season 3 here next week.
Yeah, that third binder over my head, right about where my finger's pointing on screen. That's entire binder. The second one from the top is all the 1987 Topps Maguires.
That's it?
Well, there's like a stack. There's like a stack that big that I haven't put away yet on my desk too.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Rich Klein, Jeff Wilson. Now that's an improvement over Ben. Just right off the bat, just
Hey, wow.
got fired. Uncle
About the Cards is looking for a new uncle. So we'll be having uncle tryouts this week.
I mean, I think as badly as he just killed you, we got to say goodbye, Ben.
That's not nice.
If Jeff was an improvement, why won't that guy debate me live, one-on-one, with a third-party
He's really busy.
moderator? He is. He's backtracking on 4 years of everything he said. Apparently, my DMs have been blowing up. People are like, have you heard what he said now? He's trying to backtrack. Invest in what you like, not in what the market says. And it's
he's there now? Welcome, bud.
He's backtracking on everything he said, allegedly.
I listen, we're not ones to like really toot our own horn, but a couple things real quick before we get the show tonight. Been a kind of quiet week, so we have some time. Ben was one of the first people to talk about how 2017 was the beginning of all this madness, and it lined up with 87. We've always been talking about collect what you like, buy what you like, all of that stuff. We've always talked about, the investments, right? That's always been a thing where we've kind of shied away from. It's more, even if it's a speculation of a short term or a long term play, then that's something different than an investment. It's something where, hey, I can enhance my collection by buying this guy today and selling him tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just funny that the three of us have all kind of had a very similar mindset throughout this whole time. And all these other people were like, oh, it's all about modern. It's all about grading. It's all about ultra modern and, slabs and all this stuff. And now the wheels are falling off the bus, and, everybody's kind of coming back to where we've been, and we have never left.
And it's funny. I had mentioned this on a previous show, too, that the way I chose to collect in 2012 was very isolated, almost unicorn-like. And now you speed up 10 years, and a lot of people have taken to collecting similar to me out of necessity, out of, oversaturation, out of, out of frustration because you can't collect it all. Similar thoughts on the show. If you go back to the first 2 dozen shows that we had, a lot of what we were saying probably wasn't in line with what a lot of collectors were doing at the time. And speed up 3 years, and a lot of collectors are in line with what we preach, what we say, what we, it's I think it's a microcosm of kind of how the hobby has developed over time. Yeah, and you start to see it's not a bad thing. I was just gonna say, I think there's a distinct division between the us and the them. And I think a lot more people are coming over to the us versus the them, in that sense of you can't play with them because it's gotten a lot more expensive to do so. And that arbitrage, that, investment in mentality, that gambling mentality, speculation mentality is not for everybody. And I think you're starting to see it go further to the side. I won't say the right or the left, but it's going further to one side. And I think a lot more people are coming to tilt that seesaw towards more of that collector mentality where we've been sitting all along.
And it's not like we're saying that we've influenced anybody in any way. We've just been here. And it's funny the way people kind of correct themselves. My friend Matt, so he collected, like, I think I talked about him before. He was a big NASCAR guy, was a big Jeff Gordon fan, had tons and tons of die casts, never card collected at all. But I came across some Ohio State football cards through a collection, and he's a big Ohio State fan. So I gave him, I'm like, hey, enjoy these. Here's some of the Ohio State guys you like. The dude's wife, my best friend's wife, she wants to murder me because he is now buying on eBay. He's made about 50 purchases in the last 3 weeks on eBay of Ohio State cards. Yesterday we went to a distributor, and he was like, dude, there's a box of college draft picks Prism. There's Ohio State guys in there. And I was like, yeah. I said, the box is like, whatever. It was like $325. He's like, can we pick it up? I was like, yeah, dude. So he busted a $300 box of Prism last night. Did pretty well. But he's new. He knows he can't collect it all. He's even having trouble collecting just all the Ohio State stuff. And he's like, dude, I'm so overwhelmed. And all I'm looking at is Ohio State football players in their Ohio State jerseys. So very limited. But still, there's so much in that realm. He goes, just even this year. I'm like, oh, yeah, dude. Try collecting if you collected, say the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, he's like, dude, my head would explode. But he's really liking it. And, I think it's funny. It's just we're going to talk about Series 2 later. I sold more team sets off Twitter to people that, they're on there this year than I have in the last 2 rounds I did for Update and for Series 1. Because people have said, like, yeah, I'm just collecting my team now. I'm just collecting my player now. I'm just collecting, it's been very small. So we're going to get to a lot more of that in the show, but I find that's funny that old cousin Jeff is changing his tune. I actually have to go listen to what he's saying. Maybe I'll get influenced.
I think it's very indicative of him being the poster child of that side, that them side that I just referenced. I do want to contest one thing you said, Tim, where you were saying that it's not like we influenced anybody. I think collectively, content creators do influence, manipulate the market, not in a bad way. Influence the market's probably a better word than manipulate, but we have. How many people? John P is a great example of somebody. Your friend Matt, who you just mentioned, is somebody who, our voices have reached out to, and we've changed our collecting habits a little bit based on what listener interaction. And 3 years ago, Tim, you weren't selling as much on eBay as you are today. Not case breaking or opening a case here and there. That was not something you were doing 3 years ago. So influencing the market's not necessarily evil. It's not illegal. Market manipulation always gets a bad rap, but you can do so just by how you say, hey, I'm not opening up a box of such and such because it's too expensive for the price point. And if other people are out there saying, you know what, these guys are right, next thing you know, you've literally directly influenced them.
I didn't mean it as like we're like driving people to this. I think we're just opening people's minds to other opportunities that are there. Because I don't think we've ever really dictated a way to collect. I think it was more like, hey, be aware of this, and these are what our thoughts are on this area. And if you have a counterpoint, let us know. And I think we try to be very open. And when somebody has a point that's not the same as ours, and we try to understand where they're coming from, and have an open discussion with it. So
a healthy debate is always positive, and I draw a line in the sand a lot on Twitter, and sometimes argue the unpopular opinion just because I can't tell you how many times I've had a lot of people hop in, and it's been healthy, and all of a sudden a debate grows into, even yesterday there was an article on Business Insider I wanted to read, and I was like, hey, if anybody's I couldn't get past the paywall and I wasn't going to pay. If anybody has a subscription, can you copy and paste me? And our good buddy Once a Cub, Matt Major, did. But all of a sudden I'm in a whole conversation with like 8 guys about paywalls, and great conversation about whether or not these should exist, and paying for good journalism and supporting journalism and versus being able to see what you're paying for beforehand. I mean, kind of a reflection of the hobby, right? I mean, would you rather go to eBay where you're past that paywall, or are you buying a sealed box of wax where you don't know what you're getting until you open it? The analogy is a little thin in the sense that I want to know what I'm getting before I sign up for, say, The Athletic. The beauty of The Athletic is they hired so many well-known journalists that you knew, okay, well, I'm getting Jason Stark, I'm getting Rosenthal, I'm getting, Eno Saris.
Even
I'm
like
getting,
the quote, like beat writer guys they've hired too, that cover like local or semi like regional stuff, like Sam Amick for the right.
Amick's great.
Yeah, he's a stud, man. And when they hired him, it was like,
Michael
they
Russo.
have these great beat writers all over the place, and it's kind of like ESPN, the NFL Nation, all those writers that were there, but a better version of what they did there because it covers all the sports. So
and that's the thing is, I'm okay going past the paywall on The Athletic because there's 50 names that I'm aware of. On Business Insider, I subscribe to other websites that are similar, like The Economist and business-related ones and whatnot. But
what we're calling it now.
On Business Insider, I don't know what I'm getting until and I've had their subscription, and there's a lot of weak articles on there, so I would never sign up for it again. But again, healthy debate. And I think this show has sparked healthy debate, challenged us to be better collectors, challenged us to be better podcasters, better content creators. And, and how many people have we reached, and how many people have reached out to us? And I can't tell you how much I've learned, despite the fact being on this side of the microphone on this show. It's been a great 3-year run for us.
Oh yeah.
And
all the folks we've run into, we met, and we've become friends with, and had on, and had interactions with, and just seen all the goodness, really, because there's a lot out there. So, well, let's get into it. Hot off the week that was last week's releases, we had Topps Living Week 170. We had card 421, Jesus Aguilar, first baseman of the Miami Marlins, just over 1,400, and card 422, Alex Kirilloff, rookie outfielder of the Minnesota Twins, so just a few over 2,800. So dang near doubled up Aguilar. And it's funny, Jared Kelly did that piece and followed me on Twitter the other day, and I'd been following him for a while, so I sent him a DM and I said, hey, listen, it's been almost 9 years on Friday. 6/18 is the date. 6/18/12. I looked because it was the two DMs we had going back from then. When he sent me the boxer painting I won off Cardboard Connection Radio. And I sent him a note and I said, hey, this is what's going on. I appreciate it. It's in my son's room now. And so I'm going to try to effort to get him on the show. And,
well, someone may or may not have shot us a DM saying, hey, why don't you guys reach out to him, see if he wants to come on. He seems to be interactive on the social medias.
Yeah.
And
so
they didn't make a bad suggestion. So.
Another one we're reaching out to that I'm going to hopefully be able to snag a spot with is Alex Pardee, since we're on the online releases topic. So a couple of these artists would be awesome, and Pardee's got an amazing one coming out tomorrow that I can't wait for.
So I just still know Georgia Brett Project 70. I'm okay with it, though. Okay with it. We had 2021 Topps Baseball Series 2, which we're going to get into real big details later. I opened more than I ever thought I was going to. And then 21 Panini Prism Draft Picks Collegiate Football, which I saw my buddy open, and not too bad. It's you need to find it at the right price point. I think that's the big key in that product is what makes it a worthwhile rip. So. Hot off the presses, this week's new releases. Topps Living Week 171, card 423. We had a preview of this last week. Jared Walsh, first baseman outfielder, Los Angeles Angels. And card 424, Adolis Garcia, outfielder, Texas Rangers. So two younger guys getting their names out there.
Garcia's 28. He's an old rookie.
Well, yeah, but he's not a rookie. He's not even a rookie in this. I mean, I think this is like a third-year product for him. But Walsh was a rookie last year or the year before. So
Wa-
some younger, guys that don't have a lot of major league experience because there's no star, there's no veteran star, there's no legend, there's no rookie. So it's going to be one of those weeks where I think we're gonna.
At least on the back, I find this interesting that he started his career in the Cuban leagues, the Cuban Nacional Series, but then went over to the Japanese leagues and played for a couple of years. Looks like he came to the Cardinals in 2017. So I guess this would be his 4th year card.
Yeah, he had a rookie cards in 18 update, I believe it was.
Sounds about right.
Walsh is fun to watch. I got to see him up close and personal. Hit a couple of decent knocks against the A's over the last 3 days. And, of course, he's the reason that they released Pujols. They wanted his bat in the lineup every day, and he definitely is a fun one to watch, so we'll see how he develops. Can't hurt having Trout and Ohtani in that lineup with you, though.
How dope is Ohtani? How dope is Ohtani? I loved when he was injured. I was buying cards for $1. Guys, listen. There are just some players that unless their arms and legs fall off, if they go on the injured list and their prices go to the right spot, buy. And you can play that market and do quite well. Like I always find it funny, like when Tatis got injured earlier this year, and people are like, "Sell! Oh God! Oh my God!" It's like he's coming back.
Never panic sell a star. I don't care what sport they're in.
Yeah.
If they're in the upper 10% of the league in talent, if you rank the top, the top 10 to 15%, if they fall in there, don't panic sell. They'll rebound. But, like you said, Tim, even if you're buying for your collection, if somebody wants to panic sell Tatis, and even if you're not trying to speculate and flip the arbitrage, you know what? Buy it, because now would be a good time to hopefully get at a better price for your PC. If you've always wanted a Tatis, a couple weeks ago definitely was a good time to try to. You're late to the game anyway, but at least it's not going to cost
make
you.
Make a little of the difference up, right?
You're not going to have to pay as hefty when people, you bought at the right time for Ohtani, and that'd been a great time whether you're buying to flip or you're buying to keep.
Yeah, Luis Robert right now, I think, might be somebody to look into whose prices have come down a little bit. 2021 Panini Impeccable Basketball is our only new release this week. About $2,100 a box. 1 pack per box, 9 cards per pack. You're going to get 5 autographs. You're going to get 1 silver, gold, or stainless stars insert, 3 base or parallel cards. It's a 100-card base set, all numbered to 99. There's 40 additional rookie autograph cards that they include in that base set to make it 140. Current players and stars from the past, also with rookies, have autographs. As part of that checklist, like I said, Elegance rookie jersey autographs. They're on card, and the parallels include a variety of premium patches. Impeccable always has something with numbers all the time with their autographs or inserts. Stats, jersey, draft pick numbers are incorporated in the design, but also print runs. The metal cards will have either you'll get a metal card or you'll have a card that has a precious metal in it, gold or silver piece in them. So, that helps bring up the price point. I mean, these are nice, great looking cards. Just that the price point to get 9 cards for $2,200. I'm okay. So that is our new release this week. Museum collection was supposed to come out this week, but it looks like it got pushed back into July. So it got pushed back a couple weeks. What's brewing next week's release is Topps 2021 Topps Stadium Club Baseball, 21 Panini Donruss Optic Baseball, and 21 Panini Select Baseball, all hitting the shelves next week. And what's great is Stadium Club is so beautiful. Can't wait for the photos and that. I want to see if they use the same Jeff Bagwell photo and they just crop it differently again for the 3rd year in a row. Optic obviously is just Donruss dipped in chrome. And then Select Baseball, I saw Cracknell had the checklist and stuff up. It looks pretty nice. And I'm glad that's made its comeback to baseball. So there is that's it, man. I mean, that's just a couple of releases. We're going to infield chat, our hobby talk section part of the show. There's a new checklist site. This comes from Chuckster, a whole bunch of digits after it. Wrestling card collectors. We don't talk a lot of wrestling. If you haven't checked out the new updated WrestlingTradingCards.com website, you don't know what you're missing. Over 100 new set listings have been added already. There's even comment section too on each page. Please visit, comment. This is great. I'm not a big wrestling fan or collector either, but there are a bunch I know out there for sure. And so this site is very nice and broken up by decade, and you can click on the year and check out the cards and what was available. So we just thought I it got sent to us. I thought it was a great look, and Steph's breaking the pages.
Great new resource. Great new resource for a different part of the hobby. That's definitely in the minority versus baseball, football, basketball. We should probably have Ken on soon and have him talk about the wrestling Tops Living and kind of where that's sitting in print runs, because I haven't really been following it outside of just looking at them, and not a big fan of the aesthetics, but kind of curious to his thoughts on it.
I honestly thought about, I'm not a big wrestling person whatsoever, but I actually thought about building that set, and then I saw the first, and I was like, the art, Tops Gallery comes to mind.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. It's way cartoony. Because I was gonna. I really
someone
thought
pointed
about
out the artist isn't really well versed in drawing women.
That's not that unusual. I know a few of the artists that have produced some of the. Well, look at Fucci, or I think that's how you pronounce his name, from Project 2020 and Project 70. Doesn't draw faces, so that's why you get faceless artwork. It's sorry, Ken chimed in the YouTube chat with WWE Tops Living hashtag fart noise. So I'm assuming he's not the biggest fan, but good conversation. I mean, I'm glad they're trying to create a market for that. I just think that maybe the wrong artist was. It's just too cartoony for my personal taste. That's why I couldn't go in. I was going to try to grab it like I was doing Tops Living. I'll just go and grab Undertaker and Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan and maybe Stone Cold and The Rock, some of the bigger names from maybe the 80s and 90s. And then I saw the pictures and I was just like, I definitely can live without this. I'm not expanding my PC to go into that. It's too expensive to not be satisfied with the art.
And then also, too, now if you try to go to the Tops site, they have a CAPTCHA going on, which is fine. It's helpful with bots and stuff. But the CAPTCHA has more blocks career today than Dikembe Mutombo has in his entire life. I went on to check out the Tops Living information to see what was out, and it's like select all the boats, right? And then I clicked the 4 boats out of the 9 pictures, and then it's like do it again, and then I got blocked. And then I hit refresh and it let me in. And I had to do that like every single time. And so I got mad. And I was like, just whatever, dude, and just left. Have you guys experienced that with their site?
So the other day I was looking to see if there was going to be a Tops was it Tops Now or was it Tops Living? It was the Tops Living Project 70. Eckersley. They had come out, and I was waiting for it to pop, and it was popping later in the day. And like the Conseco today, I got it like right at 9 a.m. Pacific time. This one, I was like noon, and I still couldn't get it on the website. So I had it open, waiting for it, and I refreshed a couple of times, and it blocked me again. And then I did the CAPTCHA, and then a couple of times. And the other day, it's like a Wednesday. I want to see Project 70, Tops Now, and Tops Living. And all 3 of them were blocked. And once I was able to verify myself, I could refresh the other ones and it let me in. But after 2 or 3 refreshes and you let it sit idle for 10 minutes, you got to do it again. And it's like, listen, I'm not trying to buy anything yet. I just want to peruse the website. That's all. I should be able to come and go as I please without a security measure. Once I have chosen I want to buy something, if you want to do a multi-layered CAPTCHA, you want me to, verify boats and bicycles, and you want me to do the hokey pokey and turn myself around and you want me to do all of this stuff, right? Cool. I'm looking to buy something now, but just to go to your website and you're gonna do that bull crap, it's like, good job for trying to block the bots. I can appreciate that, but
Yeah.
do it on the back end, not the
But-
front end.
Yeah, no, I hit that actually at work the other day. I was trying to look up a checklist for something Tops Living related. Someone wanted the quantities listed for the card they had, and before I could even get to anything, it was, "Hey, you must pass this thing." I'm like, guys, chill.
Yeah, you're not Gandalf. You shall not pass. It's like, come on.
I just want a checklist. It's I'm not even going to
all
that
I was
portion of
looking
the
for
website.
was the print run numbers from last week's Tops
Look,
Living.
I'm just
It's
trying
like,
to read the letters to the editor.
And Ivan from Go GTS has been on Twitter and been vocal about this. Chris Torres from CRT, who does the Project 70 daily, or I think like twice a week shows. He's been very vocal about this on Twitter. So it's like there's a lot of content creators and well-known hobbyists that are all complaining about this. I think it's time for Tops to take a look at that security measure and say, cool, come and go as you please. We're gonna bump up the checkout process, which is fine. I don't mind going through a lengthy checkout process if it allows everybody access to online releases. But I just want to check the Tops now. I just want to look at Living. I just want to look at Project 70. I want to look at Hobby. Whatever your reason for going is, probably different than mine. But I should be able to go. I mean, look, somebody like my dad who's not going to buy any Project 70, but he wants to see the artwork every day. It's better for him just to go to Beckett where Ryan Cracknell posts the dang pictures. And you know what? Beckett and Cardboard Connection give you all the information you want, and they won't block you.
Yeah. Hey, so guys, real quick, I have Twitter open during the show, and I look over, and it's like what's happening. It's like Hawks, Sixers game, all this stuff. Right now in trending sports, trade Ben. I don't know if they're talking about you or Ben Simmons, who couldn't hit the. I think I might have a better jump shot at this point in time in my life than Ben Simmons does.
So let me get this straight. So last week, Herman comes on the show. The next day, He-Man is trending. At the start of this show, Uncle Rich makes a comment about Jeff Wilson being better than me, and now all of a sudden, Trade Ben is. I mean, our show's hit the big time, boys.
Yeah, it has. So there's we've talked about this Funko. So there's a first look at some new Funko Pops. Funk of Finders on Twitter said potential first glimpse of the Funko Pop trading card as part of a collab with Panini and Funko. It was a Zion Williamson, and in the back, so it has this Funko Pop, but in the back you see it looks like his 1819 Prism rookie card hanging out behind him.
That it does.
Pretty
here.
interesting.
Well, and I know that Funko has done a previous run of the individual sports. Personally, I've loved the goalies just because there's a little bit more that you can do with all of the goalie pads and the goalie stick and whatnot. But bias aside, I kind of like this. Presumably, the oversized Prism card would be in the background of the box with in this case, Zion being posed in the display box.
So where does the auto go? Because it's gonna be a sticker auto. Where's the auto gonna go to where you're not really
on the wrapping?
Yeah, because I mean, you put it too low, it's gonna cover up the basketball. You put it too high, it's gonna cover up the Funko head. It's a really bad placement.
Pop the display box and have them sign the display card in the back.
Did you see, speaking of Funko and autographs, did you see in wrestling, did you see a $1 Million Man like just trash the Funko? Some kid had him, when I say it's like some 20-year-old was having him sign a Funko Pop, and he was pointing out what was wrong with the Funko on it, how it wasn't exact, and it's like, and all the dude wanted was his autograph on the stupid box.
I thought DiBiase was gone. I didn't even realize he was still with us.
Yeah, he's still around. He's one of the few from the 80s. It's very few. But I thought that was interesting. It'll be neat to see more of those come out and how they incorporate the two things together. So,
there'll be chase autos on there.
Oh yeah, and then alternate jerseys and Yeah. Hey, speaking of which, I say this is a cash grab. Now, I know when in the NFL and all those guys, since now they're allowing different guys to wear pretty much whatever number they want. Some of the guys that are veterans in the NFL that switch numbers, they had to pay NFL for all the inventory of their current jersey number that's out there.
Mhm.
Right. So, they pay whatever the wholesale price is to buy up all those jerseys, and then they can, as part of getting their new number.
Sure.
Well, everybody's friend, LeBron James, who hands down is one of the best basketball players of all time, but probably also the same is one of the biggest whiners and complainers of all time in the NBA, is changing his number from 23 back to number 6 next year for the Lakers.
He is. Yep.
And it's like, why? And the only thing, I talked to my friends, we were texting back and forth the other day. I said the only reason I could think that this is even a thing is that they just want to sell. He wants to sell more jerseys before he leaves, because you go to the Lakers and everybody wants the 23 jersey. So he's there 3 years, wins a title. So they sell, they sell all of his jerseys, and now maybe he's getting beat out by, Luka and some of the younger, new guys, Zion and Ja. And so now he's like, well, I need a new jersey number. Let me go back to 6. Let me rock 6 again.
Is it just that he had better luck wearing the number 6?
Why not pick a new number? That's Bill Russell's number. Jordan obviously is infamous for 23. Why not make number 19? No offense to any Hall of Famers that might have 19, but why not choose your?
Walt
Bellamy, he's trying to live in everybody's shadow. Choose number 98 would be the next Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, well, I don't understand. When Kobe went from 8 to 24, it was like, oh, okay, whatever. I thought that was dumb too. I could see if you move teams and you can't wear your old number or something, or
Sure.
you go back to your original number you were wearing back in the day because you couldn't get it when you're on your first team, whatever. But I just think it's just another thing. And I'm so glad they lost in the playoffs. I am so glad, and they're just gone and done. We don't have to worry about it. And I hope all the Nets stay injured, so we don't have to listen to that BS all through. The NBA is going to do whatever they can to make sure the Nets and Clippers are in the finals, even though Kawhi's out. I mean, they suspended Chris Paul for hugging a family member the other day. So, they said, oh, he's in COVID protocol because he hugged somebody in the stands, even though he's been vaccinated. So, the NBA is like, oh, Kawhi's out. Let's suspend Chris Paul.
Well, you remember years ago when they expanded the first round to 4 best of 7 instead of best of 5? After the Lakers were already down 0-1 or something like that, they're like, oh, we're going to change it up. And it's like, you guys are literally trying to get the Lakers into round 2.
At least it's not as bad as much as I love David Stern from the Kings Day in Sacramento, the whole fixing the Knicks lottery so they could get, Ewing. If you ever want to have a discussion on that one day, we definitely can do that, or you can hit me up and I'll talk all about that.
The envelopes were pre-freezed.
And then he smashes the corner of there used to be a YouTube video got taken down by the NBA where he throws, when they're putting the envelopes in, there's one he purposely dings across the thing, and that's the one he pulls out number 1 and was the Knicks. So he knew which one, so that's when they went to the Bulls, and yeah. But anyway. So you messed up my profits, man. Yeah, this comes from Cards Galore H. Hey, card purchaser, how would you respond to this? If it wasn't me, I'd just take the L if it was me, I would just take the L on the shipping and know better for next time. It's on Instagram. It says, bro, I need to ship. Bro, new to shipping.
Shipping, and I used to never sell wax. And I didn't know shipping. Shipping is what he meant to say. Reading it as written, I didn't know shipping I was this pricey, and it messed up my profits. Can you help me out and send $3? So
if $3 is going to break you, then something's wrong on your profit margins.
Reply back to him with a picture of 3 doll hairs.
Jesus stuff. But so it's like, listen, I've gotten when I first started doing a lot of shipping, I took a couple L's on shipping, but what you do is you suck it up and you move on.
What was
and then you learn. And oh wait, you're paying for experience, and this time you're actually paying money for it.
I I bought I think it might have been Gallery or something. It was an oversized box topper of Ricky Henderson. I forget which product it was now, and somebody had one for like $14.99 or best offer, free shipping, and I offered him like $9, and he accepted it, and then he just went off on me. He goes, "You offered this and didn't even want to pay shipping?" And I'm like, "Why would I have offered with shipping? You didn't have it listed to begin with. It was you were asking 15 and I offered 9 and you said yes." He goes, "Oh, after I pay for shipping and supplies," he goes, "I'm gonna make like fees. I'm gonna make like $2." Not my problem. You shouldn't have accepted the thing. He goes, "You should at least you should have said $9 plus shipping." I said, $9 plus shipping would have been, I don't know, say the $15 you had it listed for. Buy it now. I said, would we still be having the same conversation if I had just bought it for $15? He goes, "Yeah, you should have paid for shipping even at the $15. I'm like,
Then list it with shipping.
yeah, and I'm like, I did. I am paying shipping. Either way, I'm paying it. It's factored into the $15 or the $9. And he ended up canceling it. And because I was going back and forth with him on trying to correct his, at first I was trying to be nice, and I'm like, just give me my money back. And he goes, "No, you're an a-hole because you didn't want to pay shipping." He goes, "Now I'm keeping your money for a couple of days." Like, you can't keep my money. That's called extortion. I said, you either have to give me my money back, or you have. Yeah, I said, this is downright theft at this point. Give me my money back, or ship me the card,
Or provide what I paid for.
yeah, one or the other. I want the card. That's what I want first and foremost. And and now that I've had this conversation with you, I want to make sure it's in good condition and the correct card. But after like 2 days, I had contacted eBay. They finally gave me my money back, and I don't know what they did with him. But yeah, hey, sometimes you have to. I did that too. I sold 2 base cards of Tribute back in 2012, and when I went to combine shipping, I didn't add the shipping in. So basically, they were sold for like $3 a piece, and he paid $6, and I had to pay $3 something for shipping after fees. I gave those cards to him for like $1 profit. My fault.
Yeah,
My fault.
It happens. Yeah, and so that's kind of like it's all about experience, and you learn from those mistakes, and again, it's all about learning. And hey, I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm there. Yeah, I think it's funny. And then there's also this. So this eBayers are at it again. Fishman77 said GFC. I think you all can figure out what that stands for. It's a screenshot
No, they
of
can't because you said GFC.
Oh, JFC. Sorry, JFC. Well, at least I'm not like I don't have an excuse this week. I was like dying last week. This comes from Willie_1457 on eBay. Hi, I was wondering if you could find out how many ounces your box weighs. Yeah, he's the dude that's wearing the socks and the sandals, and he was weighing packs at the local Walmart. So
See,
when you didn't have to mad dash and beat other people with a cart to get product.
I'd almost want to reply back, "Hey, sure, send me a scale," or do like when you have to weigh a pet. You step on the scale yourself and then pick up the cat and weigh it. They got one trolling around right behind me.
Who weighs their cat? What's the purpose of weighing a cat, Stefan?
When you're trying to get it to lose some weight and you want to make sure that it actually is losing weight.
What? Cat people are weird.
Uh-huh. Okay. Oh yeah. So I just I think this when you're busting out the scales and the measurements and stuff, I just
it's getting a bit into scummy territory.
Mm-hmm.
Pack priority territory.
Yeah. So the only time I'm weighing a box is when I packed it up and I'm mailing it out. I'm going to send somebody some goodness, but yeah.
That's the only time there is to measure or weigh anything is to make sure that you're paying the post office the appropriate amount so that
it shows up.
You don't get dinged on the back end. The buyer doesn't try to get dinged on the back end, and post office.
Sometimes that doesn't even happen. Yeah, I mean, I want to point out a couple things. So I saw some really good stuff on, and we talked about, like the hobby and in like how we kind of influence and stuff. But I thought this was a really good way. So this comes from Ryan Card Collector 2 on Twitter. Needed some inventory and went to a show today to find some. Spent a ton of time going through value boxes like $1 and $5 stuff. That's how I got my start in the hobby, and something I still enjoy doing so much. Nothing better than finding a card with $1 for $1 that's worth $5. The little things. And like that is one of the things I think that people miss most out on, is that, you know, if you're looking to do some speculation or make any kind of money in this hobby, to take $1, turn it into $5, take that $5 and go buy something for your collection that you want. But now that card in your collection only costs you $1. It's very insightful, because if you know he has a story. He's been very successful. He's, you know, you watch some of the videos online. He's spending a couple $1,000s on you know, he's making big purchases, but he still loves to go and do the digging in the box and finding the dollar cards and the couple dollar cards. And it's the same thing as if you're selling a card for $1 and you sell it buy a card for $1, sell it for $5. You still got 5x. That's still that's a big accomplishment. If it's $1 or $100, you turn into $5 or $500. You have to do more of the dollars to get there, but they're more readily available, and more people are able to do that. There are more people that could buy a $1 card than people that could buy $100 card.
And if you get stuck with the $1 card, it's not a big deal. You get stuck with that $100 card, you know, assuming that these depreciate, you know.
Yeah. So here's one for you, because this happened pre-show, and it's not really something you can speculate on per se unless it's right at the start of a new set. But before the show, me and Ant went to Target and picked up a few packs of Magic just because it's available. And we got the second most expensive card in the set for the non-foil version. Kind of ugly. It's got kind of an alien text that's in universe, has some context. But if this were to have been pulled the week of, you probably would have sold for way more than they have most recently. Now that's still a nice pull for a $4.99 pack.
Sure.
Yeah.
10 times the pack cost.
Yeah, 10x plus whatever else you have in there if you wanted to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the thing, is that there are so many ways that you can improve your own collection by spending just a couple bucks and spending the time, or even quarters. And, you know, a lot of people kind of, you know, like I remember seeing someone's like, well, what, you know, why would people even bother, you know, with base cards, or why do people even bother with cards for $1 or for a quarter? And it's like, you don't understand that stuff can turn into instant money really quick. And I'm a big, like, you know, and I think it's maybe just because I have the quarter boxes, but a lot of that stuff's been just given to me. Mm-hmm. Or it's been stuff I've been sitting on forever, and you can take free and sell it for a quarter. That's awesome, right? And you know, then and then you discount it the more they buy, so then they're going to spend more time there. They're going to buy more cards. You're going to make more money, and take that. And I turn and enjoy this hobby even more. And so that's the thing. It's just kind of there are a lot of ways to do this, but don't feel that you have to spend big money to be a player and collecting trading cards.
Well, and so here's one for you. This is my sales data from Comsy. I don't order a shipment until I've made the shipping cost for that shipment. So whether I sell a card for 20 cents or $4.74, quarter, 50 cents, 5 cents, this all adds up.
Yeah.
Slowly over time. But once I make my amount to pay for shipping, I request the shipment, and then I get the cards that I want.
Yeah. I did look today, and it told me October 13th, and I was like, okay.
Look, we're working on it.
Hey, no, it's fine. I'm not giving you a hard time. No. So you know what I did? I just bought more cards. I was just going to I had some more cards I'm looking at. So I'm just like, I'll just make the shipment bigger. I don't care, because I know those are mine and they're coming to me. I'll get them whenever. It's not a big deal, because once I get them, they're going to go into the set they belong, or the binder they go into, and I'm not going to get to see them as often. So that's fine. I'll get them when I get them. But I love
Yeah.
it, and it's fun. And
It-
Matt Stradamus said COMC is one big $1 to $5 plus box. Yeah,
It's not wrong.
Yeah. And at the show in Fairfield a couple months ago, it was miserable. It was small. It was way too many people. It was a slab fest. Bunch of sweaty men, shoulder to shoulder. My kids were not cooperating, but I got into a couple of boxes and I started pulling out all these old 86 Donruss and 86 Fleer Canseco's, and I'm just like, "Hello, little friend. You're gonna come home with me. You live at Ben's house now." And I pulled out
As
some
the cards are singing "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
they're actually looking like, "Oh no, not this guy." But that's pull out Will Clark's like, "Hey, you're going to Andrew at Bayside's house, little buddy," and making a stack and then just telling the seller, "Hey, I know what you have on these, but I'm gonna buy all of them that I can find, and so we're gonna make a stack, and then you're gonna tell me what you're willing to take for them." And then there's a little negotiation, and the guy behind the table is like, "Hey, I recognize your voice. You're from that podcast," and I'm like, "Yeah," and it's
I'm sorry.
yeah. He's like, "I listen to you. I don't watch you. That's why I didn't recognize you." And I'm like, "It's probably
better.
beneficial for your eyes." But
Yeah,
man, there's something to be said for going through Tim's boxes of A's cards and yelling at him like, "Why aren't these already set aside for me? I'll take these."
so this
Yeah,
now went from a quarter box to a $2 box.
And it's just the art of finding something, whether it's for your PC, whether it's for somebody else's PC, or whether or not it's for your speculation box.
Yeah.
And
Whatever it happens to be.
there's a lot of enjoyment you can find in this hobby in old ways, traditional ways, basic ways, stuff that we used to do in the good old days when you'd go to a show and not care about eBay prices. It was just, I need this Ryan Sandberg to complete my 1985 top set, and
What
I found
about
it.
Reggie Smith from '83 Tops.
You know it.
There you go. So I had some fun this last week. So I got to open Series 2 on Thursday.
Good
LCS
looking set
had-
so far.
What's up?
Good looking set so far.
Yeah, and the thing is there's a good amount of rookies in there. We all are looking for Brian Hayes, and I think Jazz Chisholm, the kind of like the top two. And I think there's going to be a couple people that pop out of that, some guys that pop out of that we're not aware of yet, just because
Maybe
some
a
of them
couple
aren't even in the
20s.
majors yet, that they debuted last year. But what I found funny was I walk in, and I had pre-ordered a case of Jumbo, and had the money, and the shop owner, Greg's like, "Hey, listen, the prices came down, so you're going to get a discount on your case." And I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, the prices of weight come down, and they had Jumbos, I think, at $185 a box, and hobby boxes at $85. And
So good prices.
yeah. And we talked on the show. They were like the day, on Wednesday, like the 124 for a hobby, and like, was it 2 something for a jumbo, right? On Blowout. And so he had them at these prices, and I was like, dude, that's awesome. So I ended up picking up a handful more of the hobby boxes, and then I picked up some from our buddy Andrew, and I did pretty well. But what I was a little disappointed in, I was excited because they were gonna have these the 70 years of Topps Chrome box toppers, and then you're gonna get 2, and you also got your 2 silver packs. But when I opened the box toppers, the Chrome 70 years of Topps, they're just loose in the box. So you have your 10 jumbo packs, and then you have on either side 2 loose cards, and on top of that your 2 silver packs. And so it was like, holy, and thank God none of them, I opened 6 boxes and none of them were damaged. But I was like, dude, like, really? Like that to me was like, you couldn't package these cards up in a you did it for the 86. Am I there? You did it for the 86 silver packs, but you couldn't do it for the top loader or the top 70s. So I didn't understand that part. So I don't know what happened with my camera there, but it was strange. So I had some fun. One thing I pulled an Alex Kirilloff Mother's Day, which I was excited about. I pulled like 6 black parallels. Those are the ones out of 70, which I was amazed by. And they were coming out of the hobby boxes.
Interesting.
The hobbies. I pulled a gold Kirilloff as well. I was like the Kirilloff whisperer because I also pulled a couple other parallel colors of his, and
I think you had one of the hat Manu relics.
Yeah, those manufactured rookie relics are pretty sharp, guys. If you like that logo, that's a fun set to build. Here's what the Kirilloff looks like.
Nice.
And so that's been fun. But like 9:30 on Thursday night, I'm going through and I'm opening a jumbo box, and I see on the back, congratulations, Luis Robert. I see Major League Material, and I'd already pulled one of his Major League Material, inserts, just a plain black swatch. And so I'm like, oh, that's cool, whatever. And then I turn it over, and I'm like, oh, as I drop it, oh man, it's a patch and there's an autograph. That's pretty cool. Like, wow, that's awesome. And then I looked. It's not going to come in there a little bit. And I look in the bottom corner, and it's a freaking 101. And I was like, what? Really? Like, I just stunned there for a minute, just sitting there holding the card going, yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And then you dropped it.
And then I just dropped it. It's in one of the magnetics, and it's also in the Superior Fit sleeve. So it's well protected.
You should. Guy on Twitter told me you should get that graded because it's a 101, and you should always grade 101s. And I was just astonished. I didn't have an argument against it. Even when he called me a newbie who didn't know anything about card valuation and economics, I was like, okay, man, no, always grade a 101. Your argument that you should because I said so is such a great argument.
Yeah.
So
I also pulled it in the first box I opened, a hobby box. I pulled a Ted Williams super short print. I didn't know at the time because I said, okay, it's a Ted Williams, right? No big deal. And so I just set it aside. I didn't look at the number on the back, and I knew it was a short print because it was a Ted Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's not in the set. So after I opened the box, and then I went to the webs to Ryan Cracknell's articles, and I looked, and I'm like, well, it shows him like with a newspaper, and then I was like, okay, the super short print ends in 2, not 1, and I had to get my little magnifying glass out, and I looked and I said, hey, it's a 2.
You should have just called me. We could have figured it out.
Well, I shot Ryan a DM, and I'm like, hey, dude, I just pulled this Williams. Is this a super short print? And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, hey, can I use the photo for the site? And I was like, yeah, I can get you a better one. And he's like, no, this will work. And so if you go to Beckett's website and you see the super short print Teddy Ball Game, Ted Williams, that's my my actual card, but I sold it. So
what are you comfortable saying what you got for it?
I sold for $175.
Man, because I found out there's a Ricky Henderson. There's one on eBay right now going for like $83, and
yeah, there's some that had bids that were. I have to look because they should be pretty close to closing, but they were up to like $80. But I had it as the best. I put it as a crazy price, like $5.99, because it's the only one up there, or best offer. And then somebody offered me like 100, and then somebody came in and said 175, and I was like, I'll take 200 for it. And I thought about it, and I was like, dude, 175. I said I'm gonna sell it because I want to be the first one to sell because I don't want the price to drop out. So I was like, I'll just take it and move on. But we saw like the Mickey Mantle holding the bat, which is the Uber short print, which is the 52, which I thought was pretty cool looking. Did you guys see any of the ones that you liked at all in the short prints that came out this year?
Well, so it's funny you mentioned that. I broke 2 blasters, not nearly as nice as or as many as Shep did. Call me the Willy Wonka-esque ripper, but I did get a gold ticket. Randy Johnson short print in their proper uniform, Seattle, big ass. Looks like he's about to toss a fastball. Hopefully not at Kruk. But no, did you happen to have the number for the Teddy? Card number?
491.
Ooh, that goes straight to eBay.
Yeah, and so right now the ones that are
That's
still
neat.
sitting there. When I sold mine with at $86, $71 with a day to go, and then a couple others are listed at $250 or best offer, $499 best offer. So I was the first one to sell,
So
which
you got
I'm
this
happy.
one.
Yeah. So I was happy with that. I pulled some other short prints, and what's awesome is that I got most of them are rookie cards, which I liked, and so I, put those up, and those flipped pretty quickly, and moved in, and so. But I was just happy there wasn't a giant or a royal in this release. So
Must be nice.
yeah, because before, I mean, every year there's always been like a Willie Mays, or was the last year the Uber short print George Brett one where he was like at the conference table thing. So
Podium, yeah.
yeah, but no, it was fun. I mean, like I said, also the only thing that was kind of the checklist was a little soft was in like veteran stars. It just doesn't have a super ton of firepower that way, but again, there were a ton of rookies, and I think maybe some guys that could take off. So I don't know. I haven't seen any in retail. I know Walmart's the only one selling retail, like baseball out in public. But the couple I've been through, I haven't seen any. I just want to know if you guys have seen any out in the wild at all.
Well, and that's the interesting bit. The two blasters that we did find, Ange went in to go grab some stuff and for groceries, and she figured why not go check it real quick, be denied, and go about her day. Sure enough, didn't have anything on the aisle. Went grabbed our soda and Gatorades for the week, and went to go grab my Red Bull, and noticed that next to the coffee section, there were two blasters just sitting there. Like decisions were made, and someone chose cold brew coffee instead of two blasters of Series 2. So she left with them. We each broke one. Here, I'll show the manufactured card since I have them on hand.
And man, those foil parallels popped up quite often.
So we got Ozzie Smith and Stan Musial.
Oh, look at that! Just starting a Cardinals PC.
Very Cardinals heavy. Where Ben would normally ask for some blues. I didn't get any Oakland A's. Sorry, Ben. And then what Shep was just alluding to, I got a silver foil and a gold 2021 Daz Cameron.
Yeah, and then
So not too bad for two single blasters.
In the retail again, this release they have the red to $199, the orange to $299, and the green to $499.
Well, and did they have these in Series 1? The 65 throwbacks?
The redos? Yeah, they did, but they were 1952s in Series 1.
Gotcha.
I'm assuming updates.
It was a very pleasant surprise to see them in the back.
Yeah, update will probably have a third year, which is dumb because Heritage Archives, how much of this stuff do we need?
Well, and the 70 years of top stuff, this is from a box I opened yesterday, but I sold completely out from my case and a half that I opened on Thursday. And I couldn't believe it. This was the hottest seller. And the thing is that it's funny because I prepped myself because I thought it was coming out on Wednesday. So I had and just a little background on I think why I was so successful and I moved so much of this product is I pre-made my listings and I had all the checklists in there, like for all my drop downs. Mm-hmm. And all I had to do was select which ones I had, how many I had, and the price. And so as soon as I was open, I put all the inserts on and listed them. And dude, like legit, I had 172 sales from Friday to Sunday night on just Series 2 alone. And so it was crazy. And that's the thing is, if you're going to do something like this, that I think that was the best thing I've learned over opening these cases is be prepared and put the inserts up first, and especially
Makes
or like
sense.
or the short prints and the autographs, that'll move fast, because you want to be the first one to sell it,
Mhm.
or the first up there, because people are going to go and right off the bat, there's those people, team collectors. Hey, I need this stuff. I want to get it. Move on to the next.
Also,
I think
So
that was the biggest help.
personally, two, one, Ben, I assume you have this.
yeah, Tim, I think, got me one, and
Yeah.
Andrew got me one. So
Easily, it continues to be my favorite insert set this year. I love die cuts, and this is impressive. And my least favorite?
The DH. Oh, the significant stats.
No offense, but nobody wants these.
those are kind of ugly.
Well, these were pretty lame too.
The StatCast ones. I trust me. I love the numbers, and we can debate statistics all day long. But it's kind of a
So,
basic answer.
one quick follow up, Tim, to what you were saying about inserts first. Also, if you're going to run an auction on something like Flagship right out of the gate, do a 3-day auction, because everybody's going to look at it anyway. You don't need 7 days. I just saw a Reggie Jackson short print sell yesterday, I believe, and it said first to market in the thing. But most of them, there've been a dozen that have sold. Just because you were the first to list doesn't mean you're going to be the first to sell at auction.
Yeah, and I none of my stuff was auction. It was all drop downs for the inserts, and I'd set prices on them, and I set the prices to move, where I was like, okay, like listen, like I priced them where I knew I was going to do okay, but I might have been a little under the market, but I wanted to move on from this product and do well. Now, for what I spent and all the additional boxes I bought, which ended up being like an additional half case of hobby, before on all the sales over the weekend, I made my money. That's before complete sets I've made. That was before the team sets I sold. That doesn't include the Robert autograph. It doesn't include all of these inserts that I have from my most recent opening. And so now it's all gravy, and I'm super happy. I keep the Robert card and don't have to sell it to make to nickel and dime my way back, because guess what? I was there, and all the short prints put best offers on, and be aggressive, and don't sit on it, because somebody else is going to pull that, list it for $5 less than you, and was it worth the $5?
Well, as far as that Robert goes, and I don't have to tell you this, so we're more speaking to anybody out there that might be on the newer spectrum of selling. Don't sell that Robert now. It's a 1 of 1, so it's not going to go anywhere. There's nobody else that can compete with that one. But right now, if you were to list it with him being injured, it's a soft market.
Yeah.
So you're not going to maximize the sales. So because you've already achieved that break-even point, and you can either keep it and not have to worry about needing to sell that in order to profit. You can hold on to it so when you're comfortable letting it go, if you decide to let it go, but sell in a hotter market than what you have.
I have it on eBay. I put like $7,500 on. I put a crazy price on it, right, just to put it out there. And somebody sent me a message. That's a little high there, bro. And one of my buddies says it's probably a $500 to $750 card. I'm fine with, right? It's a nice little for a baseball card to pull. I wasn't expecting, especially a Flagship, but it's one of those things too. It's like I also pulled the card. It has now a story to it, and the fact is I don't need to sell it, so holding on to it's kind of neat too, right? And and that's what it was fun. I mean, I was just like, it's probably the second best pull I've had out of opening all this Flagship stuff since 2018.
And that's why I always say I don't want to be ruthless, as in why I haven't sold the Babe Ruth card. I have plenty of offers, but horrible dad pun. What were you going to say, Ben?
I was just going to say, as far as the Robert goes, sometimes it's nice to have it listed for no other reason than now the market is aware that it has been pulled.
Yeah.
And so I can see it. If I'm a Robert guy, I know it's available. Maybe I message you privately and go, hey, you're just a little off on your valuation. If you ever want to come off that card, I'm a buyer. Keep me in mind. I'd be comfortable at $800. and maybe as the seller, you're like, no, you're lowballing me, man, or you're like, yeah, no, I know I have a stupid price on it. I'll keep that in mind, because right now, yeah, that's probably a I don't want to sell it price.
Yeah,
and you're not going to get a reasonable offer, because if the market for it is, say, on the high end, $1,000 cap, come on, you're so far out of that arena at the moment. Nobody's going to come up with a reasonable offer, but that's okay, because you're not in a position where you have to sell it. It's just a single listing on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The market can see it and enjoy it.
So it pulled the Independence Day parallel of a Philly, Mickey Moniak, for number one overall pick. So that was cool because it's numbered out of 76.
Plus
so obviously it's
Philadelphia.
worth
Sure.
twice as much, right? But we talked about I'd never pulled a clear card. And last night, the first box I opened from Andrew, Michael Conforto clear. It's an acetate card out of 10, number 5 out of 10. So
I've never bought a flagship acetate, just because
it's nice. It's a nice looking card. I was like, when I pulled it, I was like, oh. So I was like, man, Series 2 has been very, very good to me. So I've been very happy with it.
Before we move off,
yeah,
just because we're talking about one-of-ones, this is completely unrelated outside of the one-of-one. Somebody messaged me on Facebook. They pulled the Mark McGwire sketch auto one-of-one as a Cardinal. I know about what he'd be looking for it. Probably looking to trade it versus sell it, just because it's a one-of-one. And in his words, they're so hard to comp. If you're interested in the one-of-one sketch auto, assuming he still has it, I can help network and hook you up with his contact info. So reach out to me on Twitter or Facebook. And I have a picture of it in my DM if you want to take a look at it. But just an idea. Hey, if anybody's out there and that fits your PC. So I figured I'd mention that before we move on to another topic.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I know. I think it was you, Ben, that dropped about the ever-changing landscape of the hobby. The last few months and weeks, we've seen the hobby changing, and I want to know: do you guys think that it's moving back to like the means we were maybe pre-COVID era?
I mean, a little bit. I've seen even at Walmart, less people hovering around whenever the stock times are. I've had more boxes available. In addition, I've seen supplies at retail, which is the thing I wanted to bring up. Our local Targets, in a need to find space for things, has taken up to selling 5-packs of One Touch case at 130 point. So if you have a bunch of relic cards, you might want to check your Target, because they've been selling 5-packs. Now, for those that matter, there is only one little slip that tells you what size it is. But hey, I think it was $10 for a 5-pack. Not bad.
That's pretty much what they should be. But the supplies are hard to come by. No, I mean, I think that. And my question is I had a good discussion with the guy at the distributor yesterday, and they said the 2020. He's like, hey, 2020 was our best year, but he goes, we're crushing it even more this year than last year. And he goes, we've slowed down a little bit in the last few weeks, and he thinks it's due to more of the country opening up. So yesterday, like the mask restrictions in California, that got pulled, and more people are out starting to do other things, and things are opening up. We saw Disneyland and all that stuff's like pop off. Do you think that's going to have an effect on the hobby to kind of reduce some of what I would say like the pressure, some of the angst, of like gotta have it, need to have it, waiting for it, like I'm going to spend my money on this because now other things are opening up that people want to spend their money on, and we're going to come back a little bit now, maybe not back to where we were, but it's going to come down somewhat?
Well, so the easiest one for this, I could see more people attending games. And Lord knows, after parking, after the ticket cost, just for a single person, plus if you want to have a hot dog and a drink at the game, Texas, you need a couple drinks because water, it's hot, even in a dome stadium. I could see people choosing to spend more money to watch the game than to collect the game.
I think
makes sense.
From some of the economic conversations I've had in recent weeks, we've seen a relative dip in the hobby as it relates to this hobby specifically, because as you mentioned, people are able to go out and do things like, in person or, indoor dining at restaurants. More restaurants have opened up. A local restaurant told me that they're doing about $5,000 to $6,000 a night in sales now. At the peak of COVID last summer, they were doing $600 a night in takeout only. I mean, consider that, right? $6,000 a night versus $600 back then. To go from $6,000 a night to $600 last March, April, May. I mean, that's got to be crippling for a lot of businesses. Luckily, this is a chain business, but you start to see a little bit of a dip because we all want to go out right now. But you'll start to see it kind of rise back up after people kind of get that out of their system. In economic analytics, we often use a 1 to 100 point scale, with 50 being the middle. We consider it like a teeter-totter. If we're sitting in the middle of the seesaw at 50, that's your market base. So 1 would be a recession, 100 would be a bull market. I think in this hobby, we've seen this hobby over the last year at 130, 150, 170, just ridiculous compared to where it should be at 50, right? With slight deviations up or down. I think right now we probably are below 100 for the first time in a long time, last 12 to 18 months. But we're probably right up against 100 still. We're still seeing the market extremely high, especially on wax.
Yeah.
My question to you guys, if we want to alter the question a little bit, if 50 is where it was sitting static through 2012, 2013, 2014, and now we're at 130, 150, the question is, where does it regress? Because I don't think it goes back to 50 ever again.
Oh, I think
a long time. We're probably going to be in the 70 to 80 range.
Yeah, I would think like 80, 85, but then I think there's a shift where the 2017 85 on your scale is now 2021 50. Right, so I think it's moved up. It's going to have the middle is going to get pushed up to a little bit of a higher level, and which I think is okay, and I think we'll all be able to accept it. And the biggest point is new people coming into the hobby. Like my buddy dropped $300 on a box without blinking. Right, like he was like, okay, he goes, that's what it's going for. It's a good deal. Like I've looked around. That's a really good price for that product. I've been shopping for it. And I was like, he buys it. I'm like totally happy for him. I said, hey, I want to let you know, like a year or so ago, or when this product was released, this was about $150 box, maybe a $200 box. But he doesn't know that market. He doesn't understand where that's at. And so, I think everybody just gets used to now a new norm of where pricing and things are, which I think is good. And I think it's brought some new eyes to the hobby, which is always fun. And I think we are going to lose some of the riffraff that was this here to make money or do whatever. And I was at a kid's birthday party on Saturday, and they were talking. It was a Pokemon themed party, and the mom was hosting the party. Said it was really hard to find Pokemon things at the party because Target had limited the selling of Pokemon.
I did notice they brought that back.
Like even some of the toys and stuff, right? She said they had pulled back on. And one of the dads said, yeah, it has to do something with like trading cards and the game playing cards have taken off, and they're kind of going back and forth. And my wife looked at me and I'm like, just listen to this. And I didn't say anything because I don't want to be like that guy. Like, hey, like I have a podcast and we talk about this on a weekly basis. And, I don't, because I didn't really know anybody there. It's more my 3-year-old's friend's birthday, and so I'm just kind of hanging out. But it's just interesting to hear people that like he's like, I don't even know. They didn't even know a lot about trading cards or gaming cards or any of that stuff, but they were talking about it.
Yeah.
And they had they had really correct knowledge on it. And so it's just funny how far it's gone out into the ether to other realms or other parts of society that might not be. And trading cards again are, being a little more recognized, and it's sometimes for the bad stuff right now. So which always gets the eyeballs, right?
I told you a couple months ago, and I'm working on a Friday in the office. It's just me and one of the owners and HR. We're trying to limit to 2 to 3 people in the office at a time instead of 12. And, I'm working on billing, and he calls me into the office. He goes, "Hey, you got a minute?" "Yeah, cool." I'll go in and he goes, "Shut the door." Shit, what? And he's like, "Hey, what can you tell me about NBA Top Shot?" I'm like, "Oh, you got to be kidding." I was like,
It's free.
yeah. Now, this is right when, I mean, if we relate it to like Project 2020, this would have been like right after that 2-week window when everybody was a Project 2020 investor.
Yeah.
Right after the Shore Griffey and
Shore
Biden's
Griffey, yeah.
Ryan drop.
Tuesday.
Probably like a week or two after that with Project 2020. This is kind of where we were at with NBA Top Shot, where you couldn't turn any like radio channel on without them talking about it. Everybody and their brother was in it. So he's asking me about it, and I'm just like, you know what? I was like, let's not have this conversation. Just pretend you didn't call me in here. Pretend you didn't ask me about it. Don't download the app. And what are we going to do for lunch? And
Go buy a Zion Williamson rookie card, Prism. Enjoy that.
So, pop,
Do you have a favorite basketball team?
Pop 37,000.
Go buy a De'Aaron Fox rookie if you like the Kings. Enjoy it because it's a kid that lives, plays in your town.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $2,000.
But it's indicative of where we've come as a hobby, and some of the stuff.
Did you guys see Murph at the beach this last week? He was over in Hawaii, just chilling, like at this ridiculous resort, all these crazy pictures. And I was like, yeah, it's his Top Shot money finally came in, and he was able to go over and then chill in Hawaii. So I hope he's listening tonight. What's up, Murph?
It's just amazing the amount of people that are talking about this hobby. That I don't want to say don't have any business being in it because obviously this hobby is open to everyone, but people that aren't wanting to be associated with it for the long haul, that are just mesmerized by the amount of money that allegedly can be had because of callous media reportings and websites that have hopped in for no reason other than to report it.
Dude,
for what it's worth, real quick, it's 6:18 p.m. Hawaii time.
Did you read well, he's back. Yeah. Okay. But did you read the show notes, Ben? Because you're leading perfectly in. You're saying you're like John Stockton to Karl Malone with a great assist here.
Wait a minute. Before you move on to that, can we talk about Stephen A. Smith for a minute?
Why? What did that monk? What did that guy do?
That mother effer say? What did
I stopped? I was going to say that mother effer, but I stopped because
we are a G-rated show, except when we're not.
Right.
But that guy
said, for kids.
I have not heard the entire quote or context, but it was trending that he had said Donovan Mitchell was the greatest Utah Jazz of all time. And he acknowledged who you just said, which are 1A and 1B. As far as I'm concerned, you could argue Stockton over Malone or vice versa. But I don't care if Donovan Mitchell plays another 15 years with the Utah Jazz at an elite level. He's going to have a tough time becoming a top 2 Utah Jazz.
Good. I mean, Malone's a top 3 power forward top 5 power forward of all time, and Stockton's one of the top couple point guards ever.
And I'm quoting here from ESPN's Get Up show. I don't want to hear about Karl Malone. I don't want to hear about John Stockton. Summarizing, Donovan Mitchell is the best player in the history of the Jazz organization.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm a Spurs fan. I watched Tim Duncan come up through the ranks, but he came up in '97. It wasn't until they had won their 3rd championship in 2007 where I was really saying, you know what? He might be better than David Robinson. Yeah, as great as he was, you had to give him an opportunity to spread his wings, and I don't care about potential. Potential is great. Luka Doncic is the next Dirk. He's not Dirk and won't be Dirk for the next 10 years. So I don't want to have their names mentioned together outside of, a qualifier that says he could become one.
Sure.
He could become this player. He's not. And he won't be until he's had a good 10 to 12 years in where we can start. And that goes for any major star, right? LeBron was the next Jordan. Cool. You want to compare them now? I'll listen to it all day long. LeBron has a resume that's built enough, but in year 5, He's not the next
He's
Jordan.
he's potentially the best Utah Jazz player of all time. But you know what? Real quick, he and Max, what's his name, and then Shannon Sharp on whatever, and that other, what the guy that used to be on ESPN2 from Dallas, Skip. All those guys are paid
Bayless.
just to say crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Right,
they're Don Imus, they're Howard Stern, sports
Yeah,
wise.
they're shock jock. Like
They're
it's like
shock jocks
yeah.
I
Like I
hear
can
we
say
are
right now,
talk-
like Mickey Mantle. What, you don't collect Mickey Mantle, you collect Mickey Moniak. What are you talking about? Get out of here.
you have one. Independence Day.
You were talking about like not good information being put out there. And I put some stuff about misinformation. So I've seen so many videos lately or clips or opinions shared where like on Insta or YouTube or TikTok comparing like, hey, like I just came across like last night on TikTok, this dude had like a case of 89 Upper Deck baseball. And he's like, look, you can get the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie out of here and they're selling for $10,000. And the cards he's showing, right? They're first of all, they weren't closed sales and they were PSA 10s. It's not like the card comes graded out of the box. All of this stuff, and it was just, to me, it was just like, okay, there's people on like, there's like, when I watch YouTube videos, there's ads like, hey, do you have an extra few $1,000s to invest in sports cards? Let me tell you how to do that.
Mhm.
So I watched the video. I just want to see what the guy's going to say, right? And so much of it is misinformation that, oh, hey, and we've talked about this before, I bought this $5 pack and I pulled this $25,000 card out of it. Everybody can do it just like me. And that's not the case.
Can, but you're not going to.
The chances, are ridiculous. And, so I told that to my buddy's wife yesterday, and, she was like kind of mad, she was just kidding with me, but she was mad at me about him spending money. But I said, she's like, how does he do? I saw all those cards you sold, and how did you? And I told her, I said, like, listen, like, I gave her the background on what it was, and I said, to hit something big and ridiculous it's like buying a lottery ticket. You spend the $1 or $5 on a scratcher, hoping to get 10 or 100 or a million times what you spent instantly. And that just doesn't it happens, but it just doesn't happen to everybody all the time. Because if it did, everybody would be, doing it and be rich, right? And, you take your chances and you take your lumps, you're going to take a lot of lumps. But I just get sick and tired of this misinformation. I think it's bad for the hobby. I think it's bad for new collectors that are getting in thinking like, oh, yeah, this guy was like, yeah, I'll sell you a complete set of 89 Upper Deck for $500. And I'm like, wait, is it 1989?
Divide that by 100 and maybe it's a fair offer.
And I'm like,
10.
So in the TikTok video, I just blasted the guy. I was just like, leaving comment after comment of just, like, this is a lie, this is a sham, don't do this, look up prices, like are the cards graded that come out of the box, all this stuff. And I haven't seen any response.
So
back,
Shep was being a Ben.
Yeah, I was, because I was mad. it was mad because it's telling people that you can get this $10,000 card out of a bot, and it's like, no, that's not true. Don't spread bad information about something I'm passionate about and I talk about weekly and that I'm involved with, because it pisses me off.
Yeah,
it's like if someone said something bad about a friend of yours, right? You're going to defend them to the hilt.
But now you're a hobby gatekeeper, as people like to say. But I remember going back and forth with another podcast guy, another content creator, back when Gary Vee really started hitting the scene, hobby related, big time, and he'd went on the Rich Eisen show, and you had this contingency of people that hated what he said and people that loved what he said, and the hobby is great, and Uncle Rich was one that said, why not have more people? Let's open it up to everybody. And it's like, and I had said it at that time, this was really before the whole COVID thing and prices had jumped. This was a couple years ago now, like when our podcast wasn't probably in season 1 still. And it's like the problem wasn't what he said, it's what he didn't say. He's on Rich Eisen for 3 minutes and he's talking about how much money you can make, and he makes that line about somebody's going to pull a Zion auto for $20,000 out of a $5 pack or $10 pack or whatever the specific numbers he had thrown out there. And it's like, it's giving people this false sense of that could be me. And
Mhm.
just because I go to the casino tonight and drop a quarter into a slot machine and I win the $10,000 prize doesn't mean that everybody's going to do that. The odds are astronomical that it even happened, but the way that a lot of this reporting is so callous. I saw it on the local news the other day. I'm tying my shoe, and my dad walks down the hallway and he's like, "You okay?" Because I got my head between my knees because I'm tying my shoe and it just dropped. Like, oh, you got to be kidding me! Because they're like, "Oh, Tom Brady card sells at auction. Forget this," and they're like, blah blah blah, and then they're like, in other news, Stefan's cat got stuck in a tree and the firefighter came out, and it's like, you guys are giving just enough information to wet somebody's whistle to get them piqued interest, and then they're going to go dive down a rabbit hole that they have no idea about, and they're not spending their lunch money on this, they're spending their mortgage money on that, and shame on them for not being financially prudent with their money. But who wouldn't throw $5 at a pack of cards if somebody is on the news saying, "Oh, you could pull a $20,000 card"? That's a good day at the office. But the problem is we're talking about the extreme. You would talk about baseball, right? Home runs literally are mistakes, right? You can't predict a home run. A home run is a ball that missed its mark and a batter turned on. That's why if I'm going for a home run every time I go up there, the odds of me hitting one are extremely remote. A home run is done by a mistake. And it's the same thing with trading cards. The odds are not in your favor. You can open up another million packs, Tim, and that's an exaggeration of that amount, but you could open up a very large amount of packs and never pull anything as good as that Lewis Robert card sitting on your desk. You could open up a million packs and never pull another one of any kind, some scrub printing plate, right? It's just the odds. Even if you're opening up a couple boxes of, say, like Archive Signature or something like that, where they've got pre-stamped ones, where the odds of pulling a one of one is a lot higher because there's they're more prevalent in a product like that, right? But if you come on there and you go on about the cards tomorrow and go, "Hey, my personal rips, look at me, I pulled a 101 Lewis Robert," and you could too.
Yeah.
Whoever watches that's going to be like, "Well, I'm just a normal guy like Tim with a wife and the kids, and I'm in this hobby, and if he could do it, I could do it because he says I could do it," and not say that, not look at the back of the pack and go, "Okay, so the odds of me pulling this Lewis Robert was 1 in 1.4 million packs because it's a one of one and they only made 20 of these," and
right. Which is what I was just about to get into, was that not every company or every release does this, but I love it when they have the actual pack odds that say, "Hey, in 2% of packs, you will get this rare. In 1% of packs, you will get 2 of them. In 4% of packs, you will get this." Just so somebody can actually sit down. I'm not opening 20 of these. I don't need to chase that 1 in 20 odd chance nice card. I can go online and buy it for $10.
Yeah, we have damn near said this every episode that we've been on the air. It's not what you hear, it's what you don't hear. It's not what you see, it's what you don't see. Understand that.
Hey, look, we're there.
Yeah, I mean, somebody asked me a couple weeks ago in the chat why I don't show a different background. And so I slid over to the other side of the couch, which is where my desk's at, where it's got all these, cards and binders and stuff that I'm in and out of all the time. If I go sit on the other side of the couch, 10 feet to my left, to the right of the screen, is the chair that I'm in most every week lately, right? You didn't see this, even though it was so close, and that's indicative of what is going on with this misinformation. They're showing you that, not this. Yeah. You have to understand what you're hearing, and that goes for anything. That goes for general news. That goes for politics. It goes for whatever you're watching. Understand that there's more to the story. You're only seeing what they're showing you and nothing more. And they might not be doing it on purpose. In the case of, local morning news covering a Tom Brady sale, they're not thinking that some chucklehead's going to go out tonight and drop $800 on a Prism Draft NFL box to try to get a 101 Trevor Lawrence auto,
triple
That's-
rare out of 75. No, but and that's a good point too. I mean, you go to a stadium and you get all of those harassies. Hey, do you want a free T-shirt? Okay, sign up for this. Not telling you that. Oh, by the way, you're going to be getting calls for cruises and timeshares. And hey, did you know I can sell you a piece of the London Bridge in Lake Havasu, Arizona?
Oh, fractional ownership. I love that.
It's not. So our question of the week comes from GN Sports Cards. Do you guys think most collectors realize how much more scarce vintage cards are compared to what's being produced today? No.
I don't think the new. How can we qualify this? Let's call it a newbie anybody that has hopped into the hobby since the beginning of 2020, right? So the last 18 months. I don't think they know because I don't think that they care.
I think you could even go back farther. I think anybody
10,
yeah,
15.
I would say anybody in the last 10 years that didn't collect pre 2010 doesn't like heavily collect doesn't have a clue. Doesn't have a clue.
Do they care though? Is a good follow up.
No, because they don't. Because they want numbered cards, autographs, and that stuff. That's what they want.
Which is why the best conversations I had at the last Dallas show were with younger kids that were collecting vintage. One, it was a sight to see, but two, it was interesting to see someone that actually wanted not a current player. They were chasing the even the Mickey Mantle, the Ty Cobbs, the major names, sure, but they wanted the vintage cards.
See, like me, I mean, I've collected for a long time. I could care less about anything pre-1952. I don't care.
Well, and really,
I can appreciate it.
Yourself, anything before 58, 7, 8, somewhere in that.
Really, like I appreciate it. I don't aspire to have any of that in my collection.
So
I'd much rather, if I came across it, I would sell it to buy more stuff that I really would enjoy.
So let me ask you this, Steph. There's I believe 20 to 25 subjects with them in this particular release from 1888. It's called the Old World Smokers, 1888 Allen and Ginter.
Sure.
Okay, I picked this up for like $7 or $8. How many of these do you think are still in circulation? And of course, you don't know, but just
under
a rough
100.
guesstimate. And like just this one
50.
copy, or if we look at all the subjects together, all 25 subjects together.
25 subjects, yeah. 100, 200.
You really don't think there's more than 4 of each?
Probably not. Not in circulation.
I mean, yeah, if you go to eBay, I'm just saying how many in existence in all private
No, I'm saying like probably 2,000 total if you have 25 subjects.
I would have priced it about 5 to 7 of this one because it's from 1888. And it obviously wasn't as popular as it's a non-sport, right?
Sure.
So it's not like the 1909 to 1911 T206, which I think that they estimate has 3 to 4 million left in circulation or, in existence. It's that's why you could never probably complete a complete run of Polar Bear or Old Mill or any of those because some of those backs just don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever exist, or is it just folklore that they existed, or the assumption they existed based on the subject list? But it's hard to quantify how much vintage still exists. And I know that the episode that I was mentioned on Jim Beckett's episode, he and Uncle Rich were talking about that. If you wanted to go grab your favorite World Series team of all time and collect all of the cards in existence. I think they were talking about one of the late 1960s teams, the 68 team or something like that versus the 89 A's. That's when I got referenced about, collecting the McGuire year versus trying to go collect all of the 2019 Washington Nationals. If you're trying to gobble up every card in existence from that year, think about the numbers and the scarcity. And it's just natural scarcity. It's not... It's just organic. That's how that happens, right? Less and less of these exist, especially during that era, because those were literally the cards your mom threw out.
Yeah,
it's a good question.
It was a great question. We had some others come across, but we're going to hold off for those for future weeks because I think they're really good. And as we roll out tonight, we We're thinking about making a couple of changes to the show. And I know I've attempted this before. I'm going to put some stuff on Twitter, and now I know not everyone's on Twitter. I think it gets the most eyes and the most interaction, so that's what we're going to put there. But a couple of things we talked about, I want to bring up real quick before we do leave, is the new release section. We're thinking about trimming that back down just a little bit. We're going to talk about the new releases, obviously, the price points, what a box break is, and kind of like what the base set is, but all the additional information, the subsets, inserts, autograph series, any of that stuff we're thinking about pulling out. So if you think that's a mistake, let us know. You can leave a comment at the video. You can hit us up on Twitter. You can email us about thecardspod@gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram. Hit up the webpage, whatever. Let us know your thoughts. If you think that's a good idea. If you have some ideas of things you would like to see added or deleted from the show, we're 100% open to that because we are heading into our fourth season. And we want this, again, for collectors by collectors. And we want your input to be part of the show. So you've supported us, and we want to make sure we're giving you the best content, best show that we possibly can each and every week.
Definitely.
Let us know.
Before we do wrap, I do have two quick notes. One, I saw this come across my desk. Roger Spore 1 saying that apparently Home Depot has a 5-pack of blue painter's tape. So if you're out or just want 5 packs of blue painter's tape for $2 a piece, $9.99 is a great price.
Like if you're painting your house and so you need painter's tape
Well,
to paint your house.
Of course.
Because
and then, second of all, got a package in the mail from Nick Deonte. He posted that he'd picked up a bunch of Sports Illustrated magazine covers. And one of the more infamous ones that I was missing is from July 18th, 1977.
which happens to be my birthday in 1979.
Ted Williams analyzes Ron Carew.
That's a sharp cover too. The looks like
It's
in
not
really
bad
good
at all.
condition.
Haven't had a chance to flip through it yet, see what Ted said. There's actually still the ad pieces, apparently. But, yeah, I fell in love with this cover when I saw it at the National. Someone was selling a signed by both players for about $400 or $500. And
Not bad for Williams, yeah.
And Nick happened to have an unsigned version, and I hopped on it. So thanks for the deal,
Nice.
Yeah, I got
Shameless plug real quick. If anybody's looking for a team set of Series 2 tops, let me know.
I had a really neat thing that happened overnight. We rag on eBay a lot, and eBay sellers, and rightly so, because the ones we point out are just laughable, and obviously I do the shit you see on eBay and Facebook on Twitter, and a lot of people have fun with that stuff and sharing other ones. But I bought a Series 2 Stephen Piscotty last night, gold foil, a couple bucks, right? No big deal. And this morning I get a refund. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And I thought maybe the seller was out of stock, which happens, right? You oversell something, and I was late to the game. He had 4 available maybe and 1 left, and he just listed 1 too many. And there was a little note on there that said, hey, love the show. And this one's on me. It's in the mail. I want to contribute to the largest, Ace collection, and keep up the good work. And then he threw kind of a line in there because I like to bitch about tape, which is apropos since you just showed that. He's like, I hope it's taped to your satisfaction. LOL. Keep up the good work. And I just, on behalf of both of you guys, the show going into year 4, Johnny 75, really appreciate that kind gesture. Very humbling. From time to time, each of the 3 of us have received something via eBay or Sport Lots, where somebody's like, hey, love the show.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
can't thank those people enough for the support. We do this because we are collectors, and we love the interaction with not just one another, but with the community at a whole for the most part. But everybody who's listened in continues to listen in. It hops in the chats, leaves comments, DMs, sends something.
The one earlier from Jesse Kaufman. Been listening to you guys on Stitcher since about episode 80. The best sports, the best card podcast, hands down.
That's cool.
We
I can't.
collectively.
I never get tired of hearing that. Like, makes me happy.
Especially
we started
since
this because all of them suck.
Yeah. I was talking to the guy that had that McGuire that DM'd me on Facebook, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm working on a podcast, and maybe I'll mention that in future shows. I want to give it a listen first." But I was like, it was just the three of us said, "Hey, let's do this one day," and we've shared this story before, and 3 years later, 156 episodes later, it's here.
My favorite ever comment about the show happened before our first show. So Colin from Sports Card Radio on his podcast, the day that I listened to this the morning, so he pre-recorded this, that we were gonna have episode 1 go live on YouTube, not the pre-recorded episode 0. He said there's a new podcast coming out about the cards and named us, and you're gonna want to go listen to it. And he has the most downloads, and you might not have the best takes or the most liked takes or agreed take, whatever you can think about it. But all the years that went to before we even launched episode 1 meant the world. Like, I was driving to work and I was like damn near pissed my pants, like with excitement, like, oh my God, we cannot screw this up tonight. To where we are now and having so much fun. So I appreciate it all. And we'll talk more as we hit season 4, but let us know what we need to add and delete from the show or what you'd like to see from us. We definitely love the feedback, and we love always the kind words and comments. It really fuels the fire for us to continue doing this. And like I said, we've talked, and we want to make sure that you guys are enjoying what we're putting out. So we don't do this to be rich or famous. We just do this for fun and to educate and share some information. So remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, review our show on all platforms. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at About the Cards. Follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. You always follow Steph at Junkwax Twins, and follow me at Big Shep 79. Please share your hobby stories, great polls. Send your questions our way, and keep collecting. We'll see you all next week.